Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Hey guys, I'm going to welcome you out for another show this week, a show that's for you and about you. Those of you that work so freaking hard for your money and you're ready for your money to start working harder for you now. You want that freedom, that cash flow, that prosperity today, not 30 or 40 years from now, but right now. So you work because you want to, not because you have to. So you can have that life that you love, being with those that you love, doing what you love. But it's not just about your own comfort and convenience, right? It's not just about having that life of your dreams where you can just sit back and sip on some lemonade or whatever. But it's so much more than that, guys, because as ripplers, you guys actually want to create a ripple effect through people's lives, not just your family, but through your community and across the world. Because as you become free yourself, you can help others do the same too. And I'm excited to be a part of that ripple effect because you guys allow me to create that ripple effect through you. And guys, I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys being a part of this movement. You guys are becoming a part of something that's amazing, and it's allowing me to express it and get that bigger impact and reach that I've always wanted. So thank you for being a part of this, sharing it, binging on these episodes and everything else you do. Quick reminder, check out our website, moneyripples.com. There's great stuff on there as well. You can also reach out to me if you've got questions in addition to that. All right, guys. So today I want to bring on a special guest, a guy that I've come to really respect in one of my mastermind groups. In fact, he's in a part of a high-level real estate mastermind group, Collective Genius, that we're together in. And Alex Pardo, he's a guy that's always impressed me, right? One, I mean, not only is he an amazing entrepreneur and a real estate professional himself, an investor and a coach and everything else, right? But he's also a family guy. He's like a real person, which, as you guys know, I like to bring on genuine, authentic people, not like the slick, snake oil salesman of sorts. Like this guy is the real deal. By the way, he's also got another podcast you can check out called FLIPEMPIRE is awesome. And that's also his name of his company. He also has a parent company called Creative RE Solutions. He's flipped well over 300 properties. So even though after he graduated from college, but almost 20 years ago, he decided to go work for GE. At the time, he's like, you know what? Even though I want to become a CEO, I'm changing that direction. And so this is where he ended up starting going down that path. No more working 75 hours a week, moved over towards doing real estate and having a life of freedom. And so guys, the main reason I brought him on today is because, many of you will ask me, they say, Chris, I hear you're part of these great groups, these masterminds. How do I find people like that? Because right now more than ever, you need a support group. And so Alex, love having you on the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Chris, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited to be on and just share some thoughts with your audience. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the path. Fill in the gaps for me a little bit, because I know you're an adventurer. I mean, you've backpacked all over the world and done cool stuff. I mean, but tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it super brief because you covered on a lot of it. But, sometime around college, first of all, ever since I was 11, 12 years old, I would buy and sell baseball cards. I would buy packs of cards in boxes and I would flip them. And at the time, I didn't know I was essentially wholesaling, but I was learning some of the fundamentals of buying low and selling high. And so I think I've always been wired with that in me. And something changed around college. When I was in college, I think it was the prestige, or maybe it was the ego, honestly, that I wanted to. I saw like the Jack Welches of the world and all these big time CEOs. And I'm like, I want to be that guy. Until I got hired by General Electric in their financial management program. And I moved away from Miami for the first time. And I'll never forget, 3.5 months into that job, I was averaging about 70 to 80 hours a week. Didn't enjoy anything I was doing. And the defining moment for me, Chris, was I would look at my boss, I would look at their boss, and then I would keep going up the chain all the way up to the CFO of GE Capital. And I looked at them and I said, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be working around the clock. And I just didn't enjoy it. At that decision, at that point, I made a decision. I'm going to finish the 2-year program, but I'm going to start educating myself about real estate. I had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I had read a bunch of these books, but I had never taken action, right? And so long story short, I finished that 2-year commitment. I went backpacking around Europe to quote unquote find myself, figure out what I wanted to do. And I was in an internet cafe in Ibiza, and a friend of mine sent me an email and he said, hey, I'm going to this marketing for deals bootcamp. It's $997. Might not sound like a lot of money to a lot of people, but for me at the time, I had funded my entire 3-month backpack trip on my credit card. I didn't really have much money. And it was a fork in the road. Well, thank God I decided to take him up on that offer, spent $1,000 on my card, went to the event, pulled out a letter. They were teaching us how to market for pre-foreclosures. This was in late 2005. And I started handwriting envelopes and sending out mailers to pre-foreclosures. A
Yeah.
couple of months later, I closed my first deal and almost made exactly what I was making as a salary at GE. So
Wow.
been doing that ever since 2005.
That's awesome. You know, I can know a lot of people here can relate because there's lots of people here that they do really work hard for their money, right? And some of them make great money, but it comes with a price, you know?
Yes.
And some people actually even believe that you have to do that. Like somehow you just have to work those long hours to get that kind of money. And that's just not true. That's a whole paradigm shift that everybody needs to have, right?
That's right. 100%. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's really unfortunate when I see people sacrificing time with their family or whatever they value, whatever important in the pursuit of money, because as cliche as it might sound, forget tomorrow. The next minute is not promised to us. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes a tragedy, or sometimes it takes you hearing about someone passing away for it to remind you, like, you have to enjoy life. And that's not to say that, you don't pay attention to the responsibilities and generating income and bringing in the finances.
Hmm.
That's important, but you can have both. I learned years ago from a mentor that this is an and world. It's not an either or. In
That's
other
right.
words, you can have both things. You just have to be very intentional and strategic about it.
Yeah. I love that whole abundance mindset and realize not either or, but it's how would I have both, right? How do I
Exactly.
have my cake and eat it too, right?
Right. It's possible.
It sure is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
tell
definitely.
us, like, in your journey, like, what's been some of the biggest ways? What are some of the biggest factors for your success?
Great question, Chris. I wish I had a sexy answer for you. I wish it was a story with a chance encounter with some celebrity where I got an opportunity. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
It was I've a couple of years into my journey as an entrepreneur, I tried to do everything alone. I was a
Mm-hmm.
lone wolf and I had some success, but I also had some pretty big failures. And
Mm-hmm.
those failures kind of shaped me. And one of the things I realized is I don't have to reinvent the wheel. If I can find the right people, put them into my life and have the right inner circle, I can essentially success leaves clues, right? And I don't have to follow their exact path because I'm on my own unique journey, but
Yeah.
I don't have to make mistakes that these people have already been through. So the 2 years it took me losing $52,000 in 2007, right as the market
Mm-hmm.
was shifting. I lost just over 50 grand on a deal.
Yeah.
And I vowed to that point, I said, I'm not going at this alone anymore. So I hired a coach at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And through that process, I got exposed to masterminds. And so for the last, I don't know, whatever it's been, 12 years, 13 years, I have
Mm-hmm.
been coached by a couple of people at the same time. I've invested in myself as you have. We were just talking how we're both a part of multiple mastermind groups.
Yeah.
And I could not imagine, Chris, especially with everything going on with COVID-19, I couldn't imagine going at this alone or without having a network, a community, a mastermind where I could just pick up the phone and call someone like you, Chris, and
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is my challenge. This is what I'm going through, or I need your insight. I need your perspective. So that's completely changed my life. Not just
Yeah.
coaching, but being a part of the right communities, being a part of the right groups, people that are going to walk alongside you, people that are going to help you to think bigger and challenge you and hold you accountable. It's been a game changer for me.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know because I know a lot of people ask me this. They're like, well, how do you find a good group like that? Like, how do you find the
Yeah.
one that's the right group? Because there's lots of groups out there, right?
Yes.
And there's tons of posers out there. There's tons of people that are kind of charlatans, right? And and some of them are some of the biggest marketing people out there, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you get in their groups, you're like, this group stinks. It's like
Yep.
this is all hype and no real content or no
Yeah.
real like real muscle to it,
Hmm.
So for you, like, what's been your experience? Like, how have you found the right groups?
Yeah. Well, first of all, phenomenal question. And I think this can be really, really helpful for people that have gotten to the point where they've said, okay, I see the value in being in a mastermind. I see the value
Hmm.
in plugging into the right community.
Yeah.
Now I go online. How do I even start the process? And one of the things I always say is, do some research, find out, look at the leader who's running the group. And
Sure.
chances are, most masterminds, you're going to go through some sort of interview process. And in some cases, that's kind of a marketing gimmick type thing, a sales thing. In
Uh-huh.
other cases, it's legit. Like if the leader is vetting who is being put in the group, that's the kind of group I think you want to be a part of, not just somebody that can stroke a check or send a wire or make a certain investment in themselves, but you want the group to have some sort of qualifications. And that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean X amount of volume or X amount of dollars you make. That could be a part of it, but you want to connect with the leader. They're going to probably interview you. You want to interview them. Ask them about their core values. Ask them about why they started the group. What's their intention? Why are they doing this? Is it a business? And if so, that's fantastic. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, because masterminds can be very lucrative, as you know, Chris. But
Yeah.
I would want to be a part of a group where it's more than just a business for them, right? Where their heart's in it, where they have a heart for service and for giving. And so you want to find out what makes up the DNA of that group, right? Is it a group of go-givers? Is it a group of people, or is it a group of just like, ego chest pounding people that it's all about, hey, I'm bigger and better kind of thing? Because there's both groups out there. So find a group that resonates with you. I think the second thing you want to ask yourself is, what direction do you want to take your life and your business? Do you have a vision for your life and for your business? Because depending on what you want to accomplish and the direction you want to go could really dictate what type of group you get into. To your point, Chris, there's no shortage of masterminds out there. It feels like they're popping up left and right now. Now, the flip side is, don't do so much research and don't get into analysis paralysis that, 12 months later, you still haven't joined the group. The right group is out there. I think you can figure out just by having a conversation or a couple conversations with the leader, and maybe even get some referrals. Find out, Chris, who's in that group, who can I connect with, and get an unbiased opinion on that group.
I think that's a great idea for sure. It's interesting because I always took as a coach, right. And consulting people, I always took kind of more the guru model for a few years. And then I realized that people didn't really need a guru model. They needed a guide. Right.
Yeah.
And obviously I still give it, help and advice and guidance and stuff. But I realized that one of the biggest shifts for me was after I started to look into mastermind groups myself and started to see the value, when I started to apply that element to my own clients, because I have them come out to my house, for example, twice a year. And we just have this very intimate group. And a lot of the members of the group said, they'll even say at the end, they'll say, the biggest thing I got out of this, like, sorry, Chris, like, your stuff is awesome, but I love talking to people that were at my level, like people that were dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with right now. Like, I've learned so much from talking with other people, even just during the breaks or lunch or whatever. Like, I've learned so much from that. And it blew my mind. Like, my ego was kind of rocked for a little bit. It's like, wait a minute, like, I'm supposed to be your mentor. And then I realized, no, this is good. This is awesome.
A great thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like it's such it was such an amazing perspective shift for me, and seeing how it really benefits people.
Yeah. And I always I think to that end, Chris, when we interview people and we have a pretty small, intimate group through Ascend, but when we interview people, we tell them, look, you're going to get the X's and O's and the strategy, and you're going to get a lot of content, but that's not even where the real value is. That's extremely valuable, but it's the relationships. The relationship capital is priceless. The fact that you and I are in a group and now we're doing this, and there's ways that you can collaborate with people, and the friendships, and the fact that I can pick up the phone and call anybody in our group, Chris, is, to me, it's priceless. So while I get a lot of value at the actual masterminds, to your point, it's the side conversations at the bar, at the restaurant, or at the break. It's the connection. I mean, again, everybody's heard, your network is your net worth. And I've also heard it's not what you know, it's who you know. I'll take it a step further. It's who knows you. And so to me, that's, if I was weighing it out, that's probably 75% of the value is the relationships. And I've learned a ton, and I've implemented systems and marketing strategies, and I've bought properties from people in our group. And so there's been a lot of business that has come out of it, but the relationships is really what it's all about for me.
That's amen to that, man. So, I'll tell you, and like you said before too, you even mentioned, like, you kind of went to the question I was already going to ask. So you already hit it, right? Which was, how would somebody know it's the right group for them, right? And that kind of leads me to your group. You have a group named Ascend, right?
Yes.
And so, Alex, tell us more about Ascend, what it is, and who would be the right fit for that kind of group.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to kind of briefly share about it. And I don't want this to sound like a sales pitch or anything. It's just, honestly, I've been doing real estate now for 15 years. This is what I'm most passionate about. I realize my calling is to pour into people's lives and to work with them. So because I've been a part of a lot of different mastermind groups, and I've had a lot of coaches, I never found a group that brought them both together. So when I got together with my partner, Steve Kavanaugh, last year, we said, how can we create an experience where we mastermind And we also get the coaching component. So it's a hybrid mastermind and coaching group for entrepreneurs. We have 2 groups of 15, so it's very small and intimate. We were talking about this offline. It's not a group where there's hundreds of people and you kind of get lost in the shuffle. And not to say there's anything wrong with that. There's some really valuable groups. So we're a part of one that's pretty big and it's awesome. But we wanted to go in a little bit of a different direction. We want the right people in there.
Yeah.
And, and so, yeah, we, every 4 months we get together in South Florida and we mastermind in a small, intimate setting. It's an experience. We have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And then there's monthly one-on-one coaching. And then we get together as a group on Zoom and we mastermind on Zoom. And ever since COVID hit, we've been doing that on a weekly basis.
Right.
And so the level of accountability, the level of just transparency that's in the group is amazing.
That's awesome, man. And like you said, when you're talking about business owners, like you're specifically saying those that are going in the business of real estate, right?
No. By the way, thank you, because I didn't clarify that. Yeah. No, this group is for entrepreneurs. Now, having said that, because of the content I produce through the podcast, because I've been in real estate, I'd probably say 80%, 75, 80% of our members are in real estate, but we do have some members that have different businesses. We didn't want it to just be a group about real estate. And I think the other thing that makes it unique, Chris, is that we don't just talk business, but we actually start with the life component.
That's great.
At the foundation of what we do is, what's the vision for your life? And then let's help you either tweak, modify, and or create a business that supports that lifestyle. So at our mastermind retreat, sometimes we're talking about, hey, my business, I need to generate more revenue. And we're talking about marketing. And then juxtapose that, we had a situation in our group where somebody's dealing with an addiction. Wow. And so we really dove into that. So it covers life and business, because my belief is that they're connected and one impacts the other. It has a ripple effect, pun intended, on each other. So
that's right. Well, it's awesome. If people want to find out more information about that, how would they go about doing so?
Yeah, it's super simple. Ascendyoursuccess.com, ascendyoursuccess.com. Short 5-6 minute video on there. And then it's just an application process. And it's really just a conversation to see, if it's a fit, answer questions, and us to find out more about you. So it's a pretty simple process.
That's great. Yes, everybody go check that out, man. We'll put that link in the show notes for you guys just to go look at or check it out, apply if you want to apply. Obviously, I can vouch for Alex. Alex is an amazing man. Like he's both on and off camera, so to speak, right? Or off the mic. He's a great guy. So definitely check that out. And also check out his podcast. You want to get to know him more through there. Check out Flip Empire as well. So anyways, Alex, appreciate you being on today.
No, again, I really thank you for having me on. Again, it's friendship. I'm grateful for the relationship. I know we have a mutual friend in Armando. And so anything you ever need, brother, I am here for you. And same applies to anybody listening to this. If I can answer any questions, or if you just want to connect, again, I love building relationships. And if I can add value in any way, feel free to reach out, alex@flipempire.com.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Alex, man. Well, everybody else, you've heard it. Reach out to Alex, check out his stuff. It's good stuff there. But right now is the best time more than ever to stay connected. If I had learned anything from the last recession that I went through, I thought I had to suffer alone. And that was not the case, guys. If I would have learned quickly that it was actually reaching out to people and associating with people and looking for help, I would have not have suffered through the recession as much as I had. So guys, I recommend you don't fall in that same trap that I did as well, that you learn from our mistakes and from our successes too. So everybody, I hope you make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.